Welcome back to the That's What He Said podcast. I'm your man, Brandon Taylor. Got my man, Will, here. How we doing today, Will?
All good, man.
Happy to talk about something else, right? We're going to keep it moving because we got good reactions. We got good topics. This one's an interesting one that we wanted to dive into. And, funnily enough, I feel like sometimes, we'll talk about our feelings about some of them before we go into them, but we really didn't this time. So I'm kind of intrigued to see where we end up.
It was organic here.
And it's funny because the topic's kind of wordy, right? So women always say that they want a man to be honest, and be like emotionally available.
Oh, they want the truth.
Transparent. They want the truth, but the good old line is you can't handle the truth.
Can they really?
So the question is, can you handle the truth, right? If a man is honest and transparent in his views, in his feelings, how would the woman react?
Right.
And obviously everyone's different, but
It's supposed to be healthy, right?
it is supposed to be healthy. But there's some things that I feel like as men, we, even when we're honest, and I feel I'm an honest and transparent person, but like there's probably things that even I wouldn't say because you're nervous about what that reaction is going to be.
Like, for example, I have an example, right? This happened to me years ago. I don't know if it was like work or some type of situation where it was like a party with people you work with and be around. And, people were drinking, feeling a little good.
Tends to bring things out.
And situation happened where a female tried to kiss me. And so fast that lips touched. And I was like, oh, what's going on? And then actually somebody walked in afterwards and kind of looked at us like, oh, shit, what's going on? And I was like, oh, my God, I can't, the chick apologized. It was cool. We had to work together, whatever. So I was thinking to myself, damn, do I say something?
Right.
What would this truth do? Like, I handled it. It was over. But how honest do we have to tell every little thing? So, yeah, I told. I was like, yeah, I got to tell you something happened. Cindy did so and so and so. She's drinking. I know she was out of her mind too. Blah, blah, blah. She was married too.
Oh.
So it was like, all right, you know what? She apologized. It was handled. But, and I told. I told the situation happened and,
what was the reaction? What was the initial reaction versus the reaction a week later?
The initial reaction was, what? You kissed her? No, listen to what I just said. She kissed me. What, did you stop? I backed away. You sure? I'm like, look, why would I even tell you? You would not even know.
Right, if you didn't say anything.
Right. So it had a negative effect. Meaning, like, it brought some distrust there about the workplace.
Well, especially because it's work related, right? So you're with that person.
Now it's like, did you see your girlfriend today at work?
Right. And it's a joke, but is it?
It's a joke, but it's not really a joke. It's one of those things where, she's really, thinking about it while I'm at work now. Or, you can't get me on the phone. Like, what are you doing? Are you out with your girlfriend for lunch?
Yep.
And so you start thinking to yourself, well, I told the truth. The truth is hurting me.
Right.
That little thing that happened.
And the truth hurt her.
Right, hurt her. So maybe if I just held it.
Right.
It'd have been okay.
Because at the end of the day, it was an innocent situation.
Nothing
was handled.
And it never was brought up again. It was nothing happened again.
Right.
It was nothing. It was like one of those things where, look, it just happened, mistake, boom.
Not like she came to you the next day and was like, I want to keep doing this.
Keep doing this. Do it again. Yeah.
And no.
Right. So, but then, prior to this situation, of course, my woman's always said to me, if anything happened, I want you always to tell me. We can talk about it. I'd rather find out from you and everything will be fine. But then when you say something, everything's not fine.
Well, damn.
So, you're in a weird situation. Like, so now, years later in my life, in a new relationship, this relationship, every relationship I'm in, I'm like, if things like that happen, I'm gonna think twice. Like, but then if something happened and it came out, now I'm a liar.
Right, now you're not just a liar. Like, you kept it.
Right. Why would you keep it?
Right.
If it was not a big deal.
Exactly.
So
even if you said it 2 days later.
Right. Why'd you wait so long?
Wait 2 days to tell me if it wasn't that big of a deal?
And then you got situations like, other situations where I talk to people about what's going on in relationships and, me and my wife are not, you know, relating well, whatever. It could be sexual, it could be anything. And I just want to tell her, and I go home and she's like not into anything. And do I say anything to her? Because if I say something to her,
you can't go back from that.
it,
Well, that's one of those things, right? Like if and even if he chooses to tell her, right? There's also the situations where like, what if she asks, she's like, "Are you happy? Do you want to be honest? Do you want the real answer?" And like, if you're asking, maybe it's because you're not 100% happy.
Right.
So maybe we could open up the conversation here,
Right.
and everyone
what
ends
you're
up
supposed to do.
right, and everyone ends up on the good part. But maybe they're asking because they're prying, or something, or they feel that something's
Right.
up. And you're like, actually, you know what? No, I'm not 100%
Right.
happy, and then
Right.
it ruins everything.
Right.
Too.
Right. So what are you supposed to like? What are you supposed to do? You want me to be honest? Like, look, you've been seeming, and you know, men show it when they're like low. You know, they're quiet, snippy.
Mhm.
You know, we don't feel like being bothered when we're like when we feel rejected or not getting what we want out of it. We kind of shut down.
Right.
That's how we handle it. So, but if I come to you and say, you know what, our sex life is kind of bland.
Right.
You know.
And to be fair, it doesn't even have to just be the sex life,
No.
right? Like
It could be more anything, but I'm just
when
saying
we hang out, it's
right,
bland.
right. We don't talk like, all right. A lot of people go through because your wife's in your pocket, your girlfriend's in your pocket all day, so you text all day about your day, and then
Right.
when you get home, you sit on the couch and both of y'all looking at social media, or
Or you just go through like, your routine. You get
Right.
home, you eat dinner,
Right.
more quietly.
Right.
You put on Jeopardy,
yeah,
and then everyone goes to bed.
and because you basically talked all day,
Right.
which is something people need to stop doing because that's what happens. You get around each other. I know everything that happened
Right.
in your day, so you get bored. Like you're human. People understand. Like people lie all the time. Like, oh, I'm happy. No, everybody gets bored.
100%.
It's just human nature to get bored anyway. But on top of it, if you're not like having any fun, you're not laughing, you're not, I know people have relationships where, you like this type, you like action movies, she likes comedy, so we don't watch TV together. So she's in the bedroom and you're in the living room. And I get it.
That's okay and healthy.
Right.
But you
right.
still have to do things
right.
together.
But
at
still, you
some
got to
point.
find some common ground where
Right.
you are doing un-roommate things
Right.
together.
Or if that's what you guys do every day, at least one day a week, or
Right.
2 days a week, right? One day you guys watch action something,
Right,
and the other
right,
day you watch something
right,
comedy.
Right. Or be open to, seeing why they like this.
Right.
Okay. You like watching Denzel.
Right.
Okay, I'm gonna watch
I was
Denzel.
gonna say the amount of times I've watched Bachelor,
Oh, me too.
or and I hate it,
Right, yeah,
but like I watch it to have something.
And
to
it's
talk
weird.
About.
I hate it, and I end up like, that guy sucks.
Yeah. I just did that with Love Island recently.
Oh yeah, I watched that too.
I was like, everyone's on this guy. Why? Or they were where they were all hyped up about one girl,
right?
and I was
yeah,
like,
yeah. She's
why?
not that cute. Yeah,
who's that?
and that's so I try to stay open with that kind of stuff because even when the Housewife first started, I'm like, this is stupid. It's like soap opera, and I'm like, oh, she's a bitch. Like,
Right.
because you can find interest in something.
It's like mindless entertainment.
Right. So, but it's just like,
It gives you a common enemy.
but a lot of people don't have that. And then do you say something?
Right.
Like, because sometimes relationships can become transactional and it's just all about, we just handling business.
Right.
And especially if you have children involved. And so you get the kids off the bus, you do this, you do homework, boom. And it's like no one dates. And so you do get bored. And I hear it from a lot of women, I hear it from a lot of guys, and it's like no passion, no fun. And if I tell you I feel this way, can you handle it?
Right.
Because I'm not trying to get out. I'm trying to fix it.
Right. I'm trying to work. I'm
Right.
saying this so that we can work towards.
But it just seems like so many feelings get hurt. It's
Well,
like,
I mean, to be fair,
and I
my
get
feelings-
it.
My
Yeah,
feelings
yeah.
would be hurt, right?
Yeah.
If your girl comes to you one day and she's like, "Hey, I just want to be honest about
Yeah.
something. I'm not really feeling you as a person these days, and like we haven't even said the part yet, but it's like, like I don't want to cheat on you, but I will tell you, like,
Right.
oh, I've had a feeling about
Right.
somebody externally. Like, if
Right.
someone said that to me, I might be hurt. Like, oh,
Yeah.
yeah, you get that. It's like that meme with the guy that. Huh?
And it's true because like in that part can happen. It could be, I don't feel excited, especially with hitting years in. You know what I mean? And if you feel like that in the first 1 or 2 years, you got some big issues. Yeah, it's deuces. It's not, you're not gonna make it the long run. But 7, 10 years, 15 years, people 20 years.
That happens.
And you don't have that excitement. Naturally, you already losing you still love the person.
Right.
and the whole attractive thing is still there, but now you know every funky thing about them.
Right.
But then it's not enough sexiness to make you feel the other part.
Right. Well, because it loses like the excitement.
Right.
Anything loses excitement. Over time.
That's why I think as humans,
People get new cars after.
oh, think about it. Think when you look at a car, you like, when you buy a car, it's like, this all I want is this,
Right.
whatever, And then 3 years down the line, you like, oh, I'm gonna trade it in for, and then hold on, 3 years ago, that's all you wanted.
I always laugh because my dad will only lease cars. Actually, I think he stopped now because now
Yeah,
he's
same
financially
right
changing
now,
his life.
right.
But for the past like 20 years, it was only leasing
too.
because the minute he got in the car, he wanted a different one.
Right. I was the same way. I leased, and I just bought my last 2 cars for the first time, and it's like, because again, the market's different, and it's smarter to if you're gonna buy it. But at least because after 3 years, that car I loved and wanted so badly and couldn't wait. And every day looking at it, researching, like 3 years down the line, like, look at the new options.
Right.
in
Look at the
this.
newer model.
Ooh, now Apple CarPlay.
Right.
My car didn't have
It's
that.
a big thing.
Right. So, but the people do that with everything,
Right.
especially men.
Yeah.
We do. Like
We like shiny things.
we get bored. We get bored fast, and women do too. I'm not saying women don't get bored, but if the excitement. So it's almost like, because we're the hunter,
Right.
so that chase is what we really like.
Right. There's the primal.
Yes.
Primal aspect to it.
And now we got it, and it's just there all the time.
Right. And that
And it's
sounds
not
so,
moving.
Right. That sounds so terrible.
It
right.
does that right, and it's what we want.
Right.
But our natural instinct, our next our primal part of us is like, move a little bit. Like, let me chase it a little bit. Let me give
That's
me
why
some
people
excitement.
always say like the most successful marriages or even relationships, not even if you don't get married. It's always like wake up and choose to date that person, because when people are dating, they are so much different than when they're married. And I feel like the people I see from my perception, the most successful relationships tend to be those people when they're out in public, they're still doing
single shit.
Yeah.
They acting like they're on a date.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's awesome.
Yeah, you're on the dance floor, smack her on the booty like
Right.
you did when you were dating.
You're like still getting to know them always.
Not like, 20 years down the line, instead of us up here dancing, then we just sit at the table watching everybody else.
Right.
Like you gotta still act. I'm a firm believer that, I the same as I did when I was 22 that I do now when I go out.
Right.
I'm having fun. If I'm with her, I'm gonna act like I did when we and her just started dating.
Right.
Because I believe you have to do that.
I was just at a wedding this last weekend, and I'm a people watcher.
Yeah.
And being at a wedding, there's great people watching.
Absolutely.
But like the ability to look around and see people, and it's funny because you can almost see like the age difference. The younger people tended to be doing more and like living a little bit more together. And then there was like the middle-aged couples, and like a bunch of them would just be at the table, and it's like they're just picking out the salad that's left. And it'd be like you'd see the wife, or I'm assuming the wife, get up and like try to get the guy.
Yeah,
to come
and the
to
guy
dance
never
floor.
wants to go.
I don't do that.
Yeah.
It's like you did 20 years
you did
ago.
that. You did that when you were trying to get
Right.
with her.
Right.
But
And now you're choosing not to. And guess what? She's on the dance floor probably looking at other people.
Right. She want to be around with the guys and girls who having fun.
Exactly.
And it sheds a different light on you. So again, let her come home and have that conversation with you. Like, you're not fun anymore.
Right. And the crazy part is I feel like those people, because we all know plenty of people like that, those people will probably be the most hurt by it.
Yeah.
So like they'd be like, just tell me what's wrong.
Yeah.
And then they would say what's wrong. And then that person's going to go cry for it.
Yeah. Why'd you tell me
Right.
that?
You hurt my feelings. My feelings are hurt.
Yeah. But what are you supposed to do? It's one of those things where it's like it's a fight. Like, it's almost like if you say, you know what, I'm getting, like, I was out tonight and somebody made me feel a certain way.
Right.
Because I realized that, I didn't want to be with that person, but when she was talking to me, it was getting me going. And
It was the feeling.
right. And I'm like, I feel like I just realized I'm dead inside.
Yeah.
And I love you. I don't want to cheat. I don't want to be with nobody else, but we have to fix this. Can she handle that conversation? Because all she hear is somebody woke something up in you.
Right.
She don't hear the part about, I want to make this work.
Right.
I want to be with you. I don't want to cheat. But she heard that somebody ruffled your feather.
Right.
What I mean?
Or multiple feathers.
So she hears that, and does that damage things?
I feel like that's it. I mean, it depends on the person.
It's,
But
it's almost a question of, and I had this happen to me a long time ago, when the conversations you should never have, Oh, how many sexual partners have you had? Oh, what kind of stuff do you do? Like, what's the craziest thing you ever done?
Yeah.
Then you tell them, and now they're like,
Oh, I can't do
I
that.
can't
Oh,
don't
you
do
a
it.
freak.
Yeah. And I had a relationship a long time ago where that happened. And I mentioned some things that I was, I've done. And the person who was very ultra aggressive with me in that way, once I told him that, she was totally different afterwards. Like she was more like reserved because I felt like she couldn't compete with that. And
Well, there's that, or maybe they're not open to that type of situation or whatever it was that.
but even if, but
so
I'm,
then they feel bad about themselves.
but the same thing is, I might not even require that from that. I'm just letting you know
Right.
what I've experimented and done. But now that I've told you about it, you're like, well, shoot, I can't compete with that.
I can't even keep up with that.
You know, you might tell your girl like, I had a quadruple threesome
Every weekend.
Yeah, I had like 3-4 girls at one time, and she's like, well, what the hell I'm supposed to do? So I mean, I'm joking.
The part that we left out of it is that they ignored me the whole time.
Right, yeah.
But that we keep that out of the story.
We didn't talk about that part.
Public story.
I was eating popcorn watching. But so sometimes, but you told the truth.
And it changes things.
But it changed it. So sometimes, do you tell it what they call that little white lie?
It's a
or
fine
withhold?
balance, right?
Yeah.
Because like for me personally, I think the truth is valuable. And if the
I'd rather
person
know.
if the person can't handle the truth, like again, maybe long term that's not the best solution for you as a person.
Right.
Because being able to be honest is important. Like if it's important to you. Which some people it might not be important. They feel better about themselves holding stuff in because some people like that power trip of being in control.
Right.
I'm a person that likes to be honest.
Right.
Like I feel bad when feel like I'm holding something in on in any situation.
Any level. Yeah.
And not even just a relationship.
Right.
Like friendships, work stuff. Like if my boss was like, "Are you happy here?" I want to be like, "Here's no."
Right.
And here's the 20 reasons why.
Right. Because honesty should help fix things.
Right. Or at least get you on the right path towards
or
fixing
understanding. Just understanding. We might agree to disagree.
Right.
I mean, I don't like the fact that you felt that way, and I don't think that's not what I meant, but at least I know and I'm aware. But in relationships, it's tough sometimes because I don't know if always telling. It depends on the thing. But then, like I said, if you withhold little things and don't say little things, then they start and they find out about that little thing. They wonder what the big thing was. Right. You're not saying.
So I feel like I have a good personal experience learning about something later that would have been beneficial earlier. And it's something I'm open to share because me and this person have this relationship. My ex-wife and I, we have a great relationship when raising our children, co-parenting levels, boom, 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 boom. We consider each other friends now.
Right.
It's great. That's how it works. In the past, I want to say like maybe a year ago, maybe a little over a year ago. Actually, it was around New Year's. Anyway, we had a conversation on New Year's and we were like, look at us, look what we've done. Like, this is great, what we've been able to accomplish not being together and how we're doing it as a team. And, there was a little alcohol involved because it was New Year's. And like, I don't remember even how it came up, but we ended up almost on like a post-mortem type conversation of like, hey, in this specific situation, what were you thinking?
Right,
or like, what was your angle on that?
Right.
Anyway, we went over like all the big things.
Right.
And at the end of it, we were on the same page on all of them now. But in the thing, it was like, well, I thought you meant or did this for this reason.
The communication was off.
We just either we didn't communicate or we were just really bad at communicating, which we were in our young 20s and it's understandable.
Absolutely.
But it's funny to do that now because that's helped highlight things in my current relationship where I'm like, I don't ever want that level of stuff happening. And so now that's why I never want to hold things in.
Right.
Because there was a couple of things where it was like, if I just said like 2 words, the whole situation's changed.
Yeah. That's
and why hold it? And
wild.
Luckily, I have a situation where I don't feel like I've held anything in about anything that I felt before because now it's like, where I'm trying to go to. And it's been appreciated.
And everything that you feel doesn't have to be ending a relationship.
No.
It could be, I'm trying to fix it by telling you these things, why I feel this way. I was telling somebody earlier, they was talking about somebody who had an affair. And I said, okay, we all no one wants anybody to have an affair, but people get caught up in the affair more than they are. Why did the affair happen?
Right. The reasons that led up to it.
It's like a friend of mine is a divorce attorney, and she always said it's a symptom of something else
Right.
that's lacking in the relationship. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's a percentage of people who just pegs and just want to go do. But most times, if you go all the way to get married to somebody or have this committed relationship, and that creeps in, if there's something missing in the relationship or within that person, that So, but we never talk about we always talk about what happens after the fact, but not why it happened.
Right. What led up to it.
Right. And sometimes a conversation can fix things.
Right. Well, and normally, I mean, not all the time, because like some people are pigs, but normally, like the lead up to a potential affair isn't like a 1 day thing.
Right.
It's a long-term effect from something.
I had a guy one time confide in me about it, and this is years ago, and he ended up having an affair, and he wasn't, that wasn't his thing at all. Like, he was anti that.
Right.
A religious guy, and married for 10 years, 11 years, and he at the time he had lost his job, and his wife was pretty hard on him. So instead of getting a job, he said, "You know what? I'm gonna get into I'm gonna do some investing and do some other things." And it's a struggle to start. I mean, they weren't poor, but it fell on her a little bit more while he was getting himself together.
Right.
And so he would come home, like, he would work on these stores he had and come home dirty. And she was like, you need to go get some suits. Like, John at my job, he got these nice tailored suits and they be coming in sharp, him and his brother, so-and-so, and then, and that's beating his chest up. And she don't even know it.
Right.
And she's like, "Oh, you got to do better. Like, when last time you had a haircut? Like, you got to pick yourself up." Like, she was beating him down as a man.
Right.
And as she's beating him down, when he's out there, there's somebody rubbing his head, like, I admire what you're doing.
Shoulder to cry on.
Like, becomes a what? So that was, he ended up having an affair with this other woman who he might have never been attracted to, but he felt so beaten down.
Right.
That he, as a man, he didn't feel like a man. Maybe he went to her and told her, "Hey, what you're doing to me, like what you're saying to me is really crushing me. And I feel like you don't respect me, you don't look at me in a certain way anymore. And I don't feel like, I don't feel like I'm a man for you, or like I feel like you respect me." And one thing, once a man loses respect, like if he feels like a woman doesn't respect him,
oh, it's gone.
Yeah, he's done.
Yeah.
So, but maybe if he would have said to her, and I don't know how she would have received it, but maybe that could have saved that situation.
Right.
Because like I said, it's a symptom. He didn't even want that. Like, I don't think he stayed with that woman. I don't think
she gave him attention when he needed it.
Right. I don't think he even stayed with that woman. It just was at that moment she gave him what he needed because he was lacking. Now,
he was weak. He was beat down. He was low.
Right.
Right.
And maybe he should have had the conversation. Maybe that's his fault.
Right.
But like, he probably didn't know what to say or how to say it to her. So it's one of those things.
Well, because I mean, most people are taught. I mean, not taught, but we kind of grow up not preaching all this, like, especially as a guy, right? Oh, be a man, hold it all in, show no emotion.
Yeah, don't be a punk.
Ever. Don't be weak.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I'm over here like, I'll share my emotions.
Yeah.
What's up?
And that's a whole topic of like the toxic masculinity and what we
vulnerability,
being vulnerable, and
emotional
then
availability.
Like I hear both sides of it. Then I hear guys say, "Yeah, women say they want that." And soon as you do that, they like, "Look at you, bitch."
Yeah, they'll hold it against you.
Right, they hold it against you. Like, he was crying. Like, my ex used to cry all the time. Like, really? Like, why you talk about the dude like that? He be crying, and he's a mama's boy. I'm like, dang, like, you hear that, but I'm like, so what do you want? A guy who's so tough that you get nothing out of him,
right?
Or a guy who's open by his feelings? Hey, you hurt my feelings today.
You need a nice balance.
But which one is it? Because in this world, they paint it like you're not supposed to be that way.
True. So which one is it? Put in the comments what it is, because clearly I don't know.
What's the truth?
What is the truth, and can you handle the truth?
Yeah, because I want the truth.
Give me the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth. Under oath style. You know, hand on the Bible.
Hand on the Bible. Well, no matter what it is, and give me your choice. Like if I can handle it, I can handle it. But I think no matter what, you should always be open. You know, and hopefully, you know, if the person really cares about you, they can sit there and say, you know what, that hurt, but I don't want you to feel hurt.
Right.
I don't want you to.
Right,
I don't
right,
want. I don't want what I'm doing to make you feel that way.
Well, what's hard is like you know you don't know what you don't know until you don't know it, right? So the person might be like, "Yes, I want you to be honest," and then when you are, they're like, "I didn't know I couldn't handle that."
like how? This is one thing totally off the subject, but
Right.
kind of on the subject. But I had a woman one time telling me that, you know, in the physical form part of the relationship, oh, he likes to do so and so. I hate it, but I just do it anyway. Is that good?
Give and take
I guess it's give and take.
is.
She's like, I hate it, but I just act like I like it.
I mean, I don't think that's healthy.
Me either.
That's not sustainable.
Now,
Long
he
term.
think he's like, yeah.
That's not sustainable long term. Good for you, I guess. Maybe short term, but long term.
But you know what I'm saying? So it's like, should she just tell him, hey, will you touch me there?
Don't like it. Honesty. Keep it honest. Tell the truth.
Yeah.
Let us know what you think.
Truth
We'll catch
hurts,
you
but
next
we need
time.
it. All right. Peace.